IR satellite off the coast of Africa. The National Hurricane Center already has an invest designated for this system. Invest 97L. Here's 96L up here. National Hurricane Center. And the latest overall initial structure of this system and the environment surrounding it. Significant development, I don't think, is likely at this point. If you look at the visible satellite, still embedded in some drier air and some wind shear blowing off the coast here. I think a better chances for developing more as it reaches the Western Atlantic. And that's not uncommon. And it's not that common for something developed this far out, this early off the coast of Africa, but it does happen. So, again, National Hurricane Center now is at 8 a.m. has an 80% chance in 7 days and 30% in 48 hours. So that's a definite. It's increased every advisor we've gotten. It's gone up to percentage wise. So I won't be surprised if it's increased again at 2 p.m. today, or it becomes a tropical depression somewhere out here as it moves westward. 96L, I'm not going to talk about that too much. Yeah, there's a upper level feature just to the northeast of this. Level water vapor. You can see the dry air nearby 97L, but there's a pocket of embedded moisture, the low levels with it. Mid levels, there's a lot more moisture pushing off the coast here. And this is likely to move westward with the system as it moves through the tropical Atlantic. Upper level water vapor. Looks like high pressure is just to the north of this system, so it'll steer it to the west. We have looks like a low pressure system right off the coast of Florida that's producing a lot of a really weak low, but it's producing a lot of rain over Florida today. And of course, we have the heavy rain going on in the middle part of the country, which I'll talk about in another video. So let's start this off by looking at the AI models and European for 96L, 97L. You see the European, these are the tracks. So the European wants to develop a depression pretty early on here. And then eventually the models all pick up on, at least I thought they did. Yeah, when you get just north of the Lesser Antilles, the European wants to bring it northward, but the the AI models wants to take it further south. So there's some disagreement there. But what this tells us is there's still high confidence that something's going to develop here. So in the long term, especially. And this is echoed by the European ensembles here, which makes up 51 members, which I would argue this is most of the members here. August 17th, 18th. This is 8 days from now, which is a little bit faster than it was before. I think, and they're more clustered about this area to the in the northeast Caribbean, north of the Bahamas, northeast of the Bahamas, and you can see high pressure at the surface, at least according to this model, is off to the east, and you have some troughiness building, a weakness building, and you can see what happens. The different model runs. There's quite a lot of spread, with some going out to sea here, some going along the southeast coast, and some going to Florida, and some weaker ones, um, different all over the place. But quite a bit of spread. But this is 11 days out, so I'm not surprised. But there's pretty good agreement up till this point to be something in the Caribbean, not in the Caribbean, north of the Lesser Antilles, or the Windward Islands, whatever you want to call them. And we may have other tropical systems develop later on, but this is the main show for the foreseeable next couple of weeks at least. And if we look at the operational run of the European model, it shows a weaker system moving out to sea here. You see there's a weakness in the ridge here, and it feels that and moves northward or northeast out to sea. Again, this is the operational run. You saw the ensembles. There's quite a bit of spread still, and being this far out, and they're not having, even though we haven't invested now in the hurricane models are being initialized, they don't go any further really than in here. They don't go that far out. So we have to rely on the global models right now for our long range forecasts, which are not going to be accurate to a single point on the map. You have to look at the ensembles compared to other ensemble outputs to get a good idea where you think something might be. The GFS 6Z run, it's pretty much in the same area. The GFS, sorry, the ensembles. This is 31 members. See different low centers. Really, they have the same behavior as European. Some want to move towards Florida, some want to move along the southeast coast, some want to move up out to sea. Operational run of the GFS, which is the model run that we see on the screen here. It's the one member out of 31, so there's a total of 31, and it's the first one, so there's 30 others. It wants to take kind of the same track as the European, but be quite a bit stronger. It feels the weakness as well in the flow. But again, the ensembles are showing quite a bit of spread at that point. So I wouldn't rule out something going into the Gulf of Mexico, the southeast, or along the mid-Atlantic coast at this point. And you look at the European AI model. This is a little bit different look. 850 HPA cyclonic vorticity, 500 millibar, which is mid-level high pressure. 97 hours out here. See the vorticity moving north of the Lesser Antilles, gain strength. And you can see there's a mid-level high, and it builds in right over top of this. Once you think that a mid-level high is building over top of this system, and it takes it right over Cuba into the Gulf and right into Texas. Is that going to happen? You see what happens here. You have trough building, mid-level high builds, and then the trough, it kind of follows the mid-level high as a trough goes off to the east here. So This model is kind of like the outlier right now. And if you look at previous runs of this model, it was further north as well. And it's been further west before too. So there's still a lot of uncertainty about where this will go. Actually, this is 00Z. I don't know why it's, oh, this is 6Z. Okay, the 6Z run is here. So now it's back off the southeast coast again. Previous. So models are, if you go back, now it's showing this ridge breaking down right here. Troughiness, a weakness, following the weakness up the coast here. So there's a lot of model inconsistency still about where these systems will go. The Canadian model, again, it shows a system off the just north of the Bahamas, northwest of Bahamas, around a week from now. Icon, same thing. This is another look at it. And we have the tracks where the position is right now. You can see it's way out there in the eastern Atlantic, so we got plenty of time to watch it. And this is just one of the hurricane models at the far end of its temporal domain. This is August 14th. You see it wants to develop. See if I can get the parent. I guess I can't, but sorry, go back. This is one of the hurricane models. Just want to give you an example as it moves through time here. You can't really see any land areas, but you see it also wants to intensify the system later towards the time frame whenever everyone else wants to. All the other models intensify it. As far as tracks, this is the latest track guidance from the American model GEFS, which is the ensembles. The mid line of this track is in the Western Atlantic. So at least right now, this is where the models, at least the GFS, which is the American ensemble, thinks it's going to go. And this is the global, this is like the super ensemble track thinking. Some members further west, some further east is the midline right here. Again, don't discount the rainfall on the coast here, but also don't discount it going out to sea earlier. And I think a lot of it depends on how strong it gets before it reaches the Western Atlantic here. If we look at this is the hurricane model guidance. Pretty much straightforward until it reaches gaining some latitude as it moves towards the Lesser Antilles. But after that, we have to rely on the global models for output. You can see most of them want to bring at 150 hours, which is roughly 8 days or so, to major hurricane strength or a little bit below, which is pretty aggressive given that it hasn't really developed yet. So one thing we look at is upper level flow when it comes to how the system's going to be steered, things like that. So if we look at upper dynamics, 250 millibar shear in the EPS. Shear is just in the deeper reds here. The higher shear values are not good for cyclone development. And you have the system out here. This is 97L. No, it's not. Excuse me. 97L. Moving through the flow here. See upper level high pressure right over top of it. Getting well established over top of this system. Interestingly enough, it puts a low off the coast here, which doesn't make any sense, but if you look at the 200 millibar wind, you see the same thing. You have high pressure aloft over top of the system, which allows air to be evacuated out and away from lower pressure. When you have that, you have evacuation from mass, and it allows a cyclone. If other conditions are favorable, like mid-level moisture and sea surface temps, which are quite warm in this area, and mid-level moisture, which we'll look at next, you have a good chance for something to develop here. So let's look at that real quick. Dry air surrounding the system, but as it gets stronger, it tends to get itself embedded in a pretty good moisture pocket there. And then it just intensifies, it moves through the flow with a lot more drier air building in behind it. And it may entrain drier air into the system, but sea surface temps are more than warm enough out here. Let's look at the upper level flow again. As we move the system through. That's some stronger flow. As the system gets stronger, you see the high pressure build over top of it. Although in this run, it wants to have some more shear around it, and that may be why it's not developing it as much in the operational run. We'll just have to see how this plays out, but the ensembles tend to paint a better picture for the environment around this thing. Anyway, the general theme here is that we expect something to develop maybe in the next few days, but most likely within the next 7 days, and move into the through the tropical Atlantic. We have plenty of time to watch it, and by day 7 or so, it'll be somewhere in the north of the Bahamas, and then we'll really have to be paying attention to where it might go. I hope you have a great day, guys. Thank you.